Hello, my name is Dr. Ridwan Fontaine. I teach Islamic management at the International Islamic University Malaysia, and we are now again focusing on the third part of Surah Al-Baqarah. Again, before we start, I would like to dedicate this video to Dr. Ismail Abu Sada, who was murdered in Gaza in December 2023. So before recording this video, I kind of refreshed my memory and I looked at the introduction video to the series, and I reminded myself that the purpose of this series is, first of all, to show that it is quite easy to reflect on Surah Al-Baqarah and to be able to relate this to Surah Fatiha. So that's still the objective. We are now in the section on Bani Israel, which is about 80 ayat. We already looked at the first ayat, which is ayat 74. Now we're looking at the second central ayah, which is ayah 112. So the translation in English is, "But know, whoever submits their face to Allah and does good will have their reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve." Okay, so when you just read this ayat like this, it doesn't really strike you, HD, what is this ayat about and why is it important? Okay, so the first thing to understand is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing in this section is He's describing a lot of behavior problems, but He's highlighting that at the heart of these behavior problems, there's a spiritual problem. So in ayat 111, so in the ayat before this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Jews and the Christians and the comment that they were making, and what they were basically saying, we are the only people who are going to enter paradise. So they had a very exclusive mindset, and their mindset was, it doesn't matter what our behavior is, because we are part of a religion, we are guaranteed entry into paradise. So the problem with this mindset is, of course, it doesn't make any sense, right? It's almost delusional. And the purpose of ayat 112 is to reject this mindset and to say, no, you will only enter paradise if you submit yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even though this is a criticism of the Jews and the Christians, it's also a reminder for the Muslims. You will not enter paradise simply because you are a Muslim. You will not enter paradise simply because you have that label Muslim. You have to do the work necessary. You have to have ikhlas. You have to do things according to the Sunnah, right? Now, I have a personal memory which is really stuck in my head, which is that of a friend of mine. So this was in the UK many years ago. There were three of us. There was myself, there was another brother who was Pakistani, and then there's a Malaysian guy, and we were kind of studying in the same university. And this Malaysian guy, he was always talking about Islam. Islam this, Islam that, Islam this, Islam this, Islam this. And at the time I had the impression that, wow, this guy is really, he's really very, he's a good Muslim, right? And then I realized something, that every time my friend and me would invite him to go to the masjid, he would always say, oh, no, it's okay, you go ahead first, you go ahead first, you go ahead first. Of course, I assumed that he was praying at home, right? But the point is, why not pray in the masjid, right? Why do you want to pray at home? And so gradually I realized that for him, Islam was part of his social identity. And in particular, he was very interested in politics, so it became actually part of his political identity. But he wasn't really that interested in following Islam, but he just wanted to identify himself as a Muslim. And that's, I think, a very common problem in the Muslim world. Okay, so that I think is something that all UIA students should think about. Are you serious about your religion, or is your religion simply part of your social identity? Okay, on that note, I'll leave you to think about it. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.